Well, thank you, Ashley. Isn't Ashley doing a great job as an MC? She's killing it. So let's hear it for some fresh faces on the stage, ladies. These women knocked it out of the park, and I just want to open this discussion. We're doing a little fireside chat with a bunch of badasses. Let me start there. And thank you for saying yes. Most of you probably weren't even in WMN for AIME, and so we just want to thank you for spearheading, being up here, being leaders in a market that, would you agree, is a little tough right now, right? So that's why I think it's so important to have these conversations, because mindset is everything, I think, around. I want to start with 100,000 originators have left the business in the last 2 years. Were you aware of that? Okay, all the while, these women are killing it, right? So I'm going to ask you guys to share the mic, and I'm going to toss it between a few of you, and I'm going to use my notes because we've got so many things that we can cover here in 45 minutes, and we're going to open up to you guys for questions. But most importantly, what would you say has been one of your number one success factors over the last year to 2 years in your business? And yes, we're going to get deep on all these questions because each of you has your own story. But what do you think has set you aside from all of your competitors to make you win in this environment? I see you ready, Stacey. Let's roll.
Is it on? Okay. So for me, in the last year and a half, the game changer for me was delegating. I'm very OCD, control freak, so scaling my business was important to me, and the only way to do that was to delegate some of the things that I didn't want to do, but find someone that could do them very well, and then change my process. So my process really changed. Early 2024, in the first quarter, I was way behind my goal for the year, and so I kind of changed my mindset, sat down and thought, why am I so far behind on my goal? And it was my process. And so I changed everything that I did in my business. So 21 years in the business, and I changed my entire process, and it was the game changer. So I do, all of my lending consultations now are done on Zoom, maybe 1 out of 50 if it's somebody who's older who doesn't want to do Zoom, but I do all of my lending consultations on Zoom, and then I pass it right off to my team, and that was really a pivotal change for me in my business.
May I ask, are you using the AI note taker within Zoom?
I am.
So are you using that with your team when you're done?
Yep.
So they're using those notes?
Yep, absolutely.
And a show of hands, anybody doing that? I want you guys to get tools to take back yes. The people who aren't, can you look into it? It's a huge game changer.
It is, and I didn't use it. I'm very... Technology freaks me out. I'm not a tech and tool person. I'm a people person. So my business partner that I own the brokerage with, he is like the brains behind everything, the data analytics. I'm the person. I'm the, kissing babies and shaking hands and the organizer and bringing everybody together. So I didn't want to use the AI at first. I was like, I don't want this taking notes on me. Like, what if I say shit or something like that in the conversation? Because you kind of know your clients, right? And you want to get on a level with them where you can relate to them, you build that rapport with them. But I reluctantly did it. Oh my gosh, what was I doing? Why was I so stuck in my own head? Why did I not want to do the note taking? I was writing out the follow-up email to every single Zoom client. When you do 4 of those in one day, my entire day was doing the notes and updating everything. Now the AI takes it, and if you're not using it, you are going to be wowed by this. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it bullet points it out. This is everything I said. This is so easy. And I just had to go in and do a couple things and tweak it, and boom, they have their follow-up email right away instead of saying, oh, thanks for meeting me on Zoom. I'll send a follow-up email later today. No, they have it within 5 or 10 minutes. Huge game changer. You got to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful segue. Nguyen is next. Well, you've got such a beautiful story. And we're going to dive into each of you because you each have your own unique story, but we're just talking about what got you on this stage right now, right? And Nguyen, mother of 2, I'm going to just lead you in. English might be your second language, okay? And so tell them a little bit about yourself and your story over the last couple of years and how you've overcome and been a winner in this market, right?
Well, English being a second language is a good start because that used to be kind of nerve-wracking from the beginning. So my initial plan was just get my degree. By the way, I've been in this country for 14 years total. So to get a good degree, be a quiet accountant sitting in the back room, my own business. But being a people person myself, that job wasn't satisfying enough. I got an opportunity to become a loan officer, but started at a retail lender under a branch manager. I got some training from him, and it was a good start. But being like Vietnamese immigrant in this country, I thought it could be a disadvantage, but then it became my niche because, I mean, I speak the language, I have my own community, and I dove in the VA loan, specialty, thanks to my ex who served in the Navy for 8 years. But, I still give him credit for that.
Leverage, that's right, girl.
So, I mean, VA loan and the language combined, that gave me the niche that I just, I never expected. But being in retail, so I got my license at the end of 2021. So right at the end of refining's boom. 2022 wasn't bad, but I slowly picked up. We were losing business. I was losing business. My clients kept telling me, I love you, being all above and beyond for your clients, you know what you're doing, but I cannot take that rate. I, over here, took a big cut in my pay and still couldn't compete. So I took a big leap of faith and switched into broker in December 2023. So last year was actually the first full year being a broker. And at the same time with divorce and moving and all that, that's when I realized that there's a saying I always love. When there's a crisis, there's opportunity. So when people see, stress, crisis, you see the opportunity. Might as well take it all at once. When you already have a change, just, bet on yourself, make all big changes all at once. What could be worse than that, right?
I mean, what a mindset. Honestly, what a mindset, right? You could have gone two different ways with that, You could have crumbled, but you took over market share instead. Congratulations.
And it turned out beautiful.
I mean, you think so? You think it turned out okay?
I love it so far, and that's probably the best season I ever made. Last year was probably my best year so far. Well, I mean, my history, my experience hasn't been that long, but
congratulations on all your success. You deserve this. There's some other questions to come because I want to get back into you being a homeowner. We're going to move into Ashley in your fabulous purple outfit, by the way. You're phenomenal. Tell me what made you successful the last year or two in this market, please.
I think really staying consistent in the market. I am in my business probably too much, but it also probably is what causes me so much success because my realtors know that I have that relationship and I'm going to close the deal and I'm who they want to talk to. I have delegated quite a few responsibilities, but in the backside of things, I always try to find ways to add value, whether it's classes, anything that's adding value to the agent. I do a lot of appreciation events because I'm not paying to play in any other way. I don't want your Zillow leads. And so I choose to do it in different ways to give them, I mean, they love to be razzle-dazzled, and so, let me have a party. Who doesn't want to have a party, right? And so I do things like that, and really surrounding myself with amazing people. I cut toxicity out of my life, and I moved companies, which it was terrifying as a top producer, but also the best thing I ever did in my life. And it
was the best thing because I know it gave you some tech.
Yeah, I mean, I closed 321 deals on Calyx. Has anybody used Calyx? Okay. By myself with no processor. Thank you very much. And it was a boys' club there. They were like my family for 8 years. I'll give them credit where credit was due, but it was time to go. And they were not nice out the door, and I walked into a new door that was happy to welcome me with a ride.
Beautiful, good. So you're with your people. My equestrian sister came from equestrian sales. Please tell us a little bit about you and how you've found success, Alice, in the last couple of years.
I think the biggest thing the last couple of years that has really helped me is I'm afraid of failure, and if you can turn that around to really motivate you into some sort of action, that's been super helpful. And I haven't stayed just stuck in doing things the way that I did them. During the refi boom, I did things one way, I got business a certain way, but as the market started changing, I really had to rethink all of that. I mean, even sitting in this room, this is the biggest networking opportunity that you have. If you think that you can't get loans out of this room, you're completely wrong. All of these originators that are here today are all licensed in different states. They could be a lead source where you could throw leads back and forth to each other. So even coming into this year, I always come into the year with a new plan of how I'm going to get better. One of my strategies was to get licensed in more states because I saw with C2, mainly we're out of California. Most people are licensed in California and have a ton of business there. So I have turned that around by becoming close friends with a lot of our top brokers so that they will send me all of their leads that they were just giving away to who knows who, that they can send them to someone that's trusted. And that has really helped my business. So I've always thought of things in slightly a different way when things start changing, that you just are not afraid to change and you continue to look at things in a different way and how you can get business. And you can take some of the limitations of the company you work for and you can turn it on its head and actually make that a strong winning point for yourself to bring in more business.
I love that. Thank you. That's beautiful. I'm going to roll it back to you, Stacey, if I can. I want to ask you, what do you get uncomfortable with in your business? I was reading some of the notes, right? So get comfortable, which is one of Melinda's things. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, which, by the way, sucks. I'm just going to tell you, it's not fun. I always say do scary shit every day, right? It's not the most fun, but what do you do to lean into that, and what are some success strategies you could share with us around that?
So I try to do one thing every day that makes me uncomfortable, but I fail at it all the time. But I think you have to fail to grow, right? And you have to do things that are a little scary. So I've scaled it back. I try to do 3 things a week now that make me uncomfortable because I don't like to fail either. And that goal was just a big, hairy, audacious goal that I couldn't meet. So it's about 3 times a week. And it varies. It can be cold calling on real estate agents. And I'm like, oh my God, this takes me back. I haven't had to do this in a while, but the market's changing, and what can I do to make sure that my team is always in the best position? So that's been a kind of more scary thing, which is kind of crazy because when I first started in this business 23 years ago, I was very lucky and very blessed to be ingrained in a real estate office. So I kind of grew up in this business in a real estate office, which you guys are probably like, okay, we fucking hate her now. Because I was literally put into a place where it was like shooting fish in a barrel. But now having the brokerage, we're obviously not inside of a real estate office anymore. And so I had to kind of go back and remember those skills, those things that I had to learn way back when I was 23 years younger and I had more energy and things to do. And so that was probably my biggest hurdle recently, is just doing that uncomfortable calling on real estate agents. And then why should they use me? Why should they use my team? Why Reasy Financial? Who the hell are you? Because we're 2 years old and nobody in Phoenix knows who we are. So it's kind of overcoming those things and bringing your value back to your roots of why you started in the business and what made you successful back in the beginning.
I mean, God bless you, by the way. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how many of you are actually doing what she just talked about, because that's what moves the needle, right? Making calls, doing things that are uncomfortable that we had to do when we got back, back in the day. I mean, I got in it way before you guys. But I'm doing that. And you know what it does? It just, I think by honing our skills, right, we just remember, oh shit, this is how we became successful, right? But it's that being uncomfortable and doing that and starting things that are new. I'm going to ask you, Nguyen, next. You did something out of the box with Facebook. And you created something really, really cool. Without leading you more, do you want to share with everybody what you did with the VA group? Because I think that's out of the box. That's something that, that's really smart, really edge.
Yeah, so just piggyback on that, the cold calling. Yes. I'm not that shy to talk to strangers, but I hate it. And so work smarter, right? I just try to think of the way to get directly to the source, to the end user, to the buyers, my clients. So skip through the realtors, and if I pass, if I come across a realtors, it's gonna be me bringing them deals instead of them, waiting them to bring me leads. And after the first introductory leads, that's what I consider. They come back to me with their other clients, right? So I create my own Facebook group that I'm the admin, but not just to chit chat, but I provide a lot of value in there, regular posts about VA loan in both languages, Vietnamese and English, and webinar in there just exclusively for the group, make them feel like they're the members of the, the private group. But it's right now it's like 600 something, but it's across the country. Of like all the active duty or veterans, or their dependents, family members, and they keep adding more people. So I get lists from them, yes, but then in my own Vietnamese military community, I became like their goddess, their go-to VA loan person, As always, my name always came up in all different groups every time they asked about VA loan. And those people, of course, they're everywhere. So when they got pre-approved by me, I'm the one who referred them to the realtors that I like. So to a lot of my realtors, partners that I work with, it's usually, most of the time, it's two-way direction. So they appreciate my business the same way as I appreciate their business as well.
They're true partners, right? And thinking out of the box, we're going to keep it moving down. And thank you guys you're doing a great job. Ashley, you had a really cool idea with title companies. I loved it so much. Will you share with them how you're thinking out of the box with that?
So when I got my license, first of all, it's amazing to see in here because there were like no women at all, and that was only 10 years ago. And to think then that we would have this many women and to hear everybody is amazing. So I was like, there's everybody licensed in Florida, like everybody. It's the easiest state to get your license in. I'm like, well, nobody knows me, and I'm like in Altamont Springs, Florida. Like, does anybody even know where that is? And so how am I going to get a deal? Because the person I asked to do this job, I hung up the phone, and my husband goes, do you know it's a commission job? And I said, oh, okay. But I knew I had to make it work. And my husband told me, stop selling anything and just sell yourself. So I took that very seriously. And I hate cold calling, and I wouldn't advise it to anybody still to this day. However, I called every single title company that I could find, like, on Google, and I even like pulled out the yellow pages and all the things. And I said, do you have any deals not closing in the next 7 days that like the lender has told you that it's not clear to close or that it's declined? Because those borrowers are the borrowers that could probably be pre-approved with a manual underwrite. Please have the realtor call me and give me an opportunity. And I called once a week asking if they had any, and I just kept calling. And then finally, a title company sent me one. And I closed it in 10 days on a manual underwrite with Carrington Mortgage. Lord help us all. You should all have to send a loan there. And I always say Orlando's the smallest big city, and my name started getting around. And then I felt breakthrough after that, and I closed hard deals. But those buyers are in homes, and I think that homeownership changes people's lives. It's more than just a house. It's divorce rates go down, your kids using drugs go down. It just provides financial stability that you can't get in anything else. So I thought that was really important.
It's beautiful, and your heart's still in it. I can feel it. I can feel your passion. Allison, tell me a little bit about realtor relationships and what your unique value prop is when you're dealing with them. That was one of the notes that I was just reading.
Yeah, I recently had a 100-agent real estate event in first quarter. UWM was a sponsor of that. Alan Baydoun and Danny Morogi flew out to give speeches for that, and so did my boss. And at first I thought, oh, this isn't going to be that bad. I can get 100 real estate agents to my event. And then you realize as you're going through every deal you've ever closed on the buy or sell side, so I'm calling people that are not cold calls, they're warm calls, I've dealt with them before, that real estate agents don't pick up the phone. They don't respond to your text. They are like the worst people ever. They don't obviously recognize no call left behind like UWM does. I wish that they did. So again, I'm afraid of failure, and I had committed to this, and everybody's flying out. So we called a ton of people. I got 70 there, and I was still 30 short, and I definitely wanted to make it worth UWM's time. So I had to change quickly and come up with some bright idea. How the heck am I going to get 30 people here in the next week and a half as time's just ticking down, because 30 days is not a long time to bring 100 people to an event. So my husband, who is managing partner of a brokerage, came up with a list of all the open houses in our area, and I literally drove in my car from open house to open house where they would have to talk to me in person, and half the time the real estate agents there are bored. And I come in, and as soon as they're nice to you at first because they think you're going to buy their home, and then they realize, oh no, I'm just a lender. But the greatest thing about going to do something like that, the first couple houses, you're nervous. It gets easier by the third or fourth, and you craft what you're going to say. But I was coming with a good value proposition. I wasn't coming with my hand out. The first thing I said to kind of break the ice was like, yeah, I'm a lender, but don't worry, I'm not here selling you something, which of course made them relaxed at first, because what I was really offering was for them to come to an event like we get to come to all the time, where you're motivated, where you're learning good tactics. And the whole premise behind this was a book called The Go-Giver, which is you give before you receive. If you give something to people, you will create this honest relationship with them. And so my whole event had that theme with, okay, to the title person, what are the things that you see are problems in situations where it's making the loans not close on time, where you're hitting hiccups? If the real estate agents knew each person's job a little bit better, could we all do our jobs better, where ultimately we gave the client a lot better experience? So I was inviting them to something that was free, that was going to give a value add to them. And I got my last 30 real estate agents in those 2 days of driving around from house to house to house. And luckily my husband geolocated them and told me which area to go and when they were going to close, so that I could plan out my day. But I think it's kind of digging in those times and finding solutions. And sometimes fear is a great motivator to making things go really well. But the best part is, of course it snowed the day of my event in Colorado. I'm from Colorado. So I'm like, oh my God, is anyone going to come? Real estate agents don't need a lot of a reason to be like, oh, maybe I'm not going to come, even though I RSVP'd. Our room was packed. After everybody spoke, people were so amazed because we were giving out free information to make their clients better, because they live off of referrals just like we do. So the more efficient we can all become in doing those things, where, if you're selling a condo, you probably should figure out if it's non-warrantable before you list it, right? And they're not even my agent, but those are the things that people don't think about, right? How many times have you got into the condo questionnaire and you're like, oh my God, this is a non-warrantable condo. Now we're going to have to pivot. Are these people really going to want to buy this house now that they're going to have to put more down and pay more money? And those are just the things that we take for granted, but other individuals that are part of this whole process with us, because we are a team, and the better we operate as a team, the better it's going to be for our clients. I always say we don't want the home buying process to be like getting a root canal, where it's a necessary evil. We want them to enjoy it, and the better people enjoy it, the more they're going to need each person in this transaction. So building those relationships as a team together, I think is...
I love that. By the way, congratulations. Fear is a motivator, isn't it? Just putting both ass cheeks on the line, and all of you do that, right? I want to ask, most of you are moms, right? Mom, no mom. Okay, I'm going to do the mom question next. I'm going to do the mom question. How many moms out here are doing origination? Okay, me too. Okay. I'm going to ask for myself, and I think this is just off the cuff. I just want to know, how the F do you balance it all? I honestly, I struggle with my life, with being a mom and being able to balance. We'll get to the guilt in a second. We're going to end on you, Stacey, because that was one of your guilt things with your business. But how do you balance it all with being a mom? That's the question. Who wants to start? Go ahead, Ashley.
So how many times have you guys heard that you have to balance it all, right? Well, I don't believe in balance. I believe in priority in the moment. So right now, my phone is probably blowing up, but I need to sit up here and talk to you guys. So I can't possibly balance it, right?
That was a somebody needs to write that down, right? Can you say, well, hold on. Say
There's
one
no
more time.
such thing as balance. It's whatever's priority in that moment. So
Priority in the moment.
I really take something that Matt Ishbia said about his dad, about answering the phone. So even today, Carolina heard me say, hey, I'm so sorry, but can you hold my daughter's driving? I need to answer her phone call, because that's important to me, because what if she got in an accident and she's freaking out, right? And so I needed to be there for her, so that was my priority. I can call him back. He was okay. It's mortgages, just mortgages. We're not dying, okay? And so there is just no such thing as balance. If you need to spend time with your kids and the dishes stay in the dishwasher till the next morning, it's okay. I'm horrible with boundaries, so I'll just preach to the choir. But sometimes, you need to be with your kids and you can't answer the phone, but maybe you need to call at 9 o'clock at night. Hey, can you take a call at this time? And I like what Melinda said about the 10-minute blocks. Hey, I have 10 minutes here, but can we come back to this if we don't finish up this call? And so it's just important to not try to balance, because that will just drive your mental health crazy. And you're like, how can I do all the things? Well, you can't. You can't do the laundry and dishes at the same time. You can't manage the kids and try to close a loan at the same time. You just have to choose what's priority in that particular moment.
And it sounds like you're authentic with whom you're speaking to. But I love that. By the way, that's huge.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, Allison, I can't wait to hear yours, because I was talking to you one day, and I think there were, I don't know, 10 horses, trailers, and as a horse mom, that is some shit, because I know. And she's rocking and rolling and doing loans all at the same time. So tell us about how you balance that.
So my work-life balance is a little bit different. Work probably invades every aspect of my life. I've melded it together instead of having it separate. So my daughter is a competitive horseback rider. I travel across the country with her. We're on the road 70 days out of the year. I just went to Ashley's neck of the woods. I drove all the way from Colorado with horses and our trainer for 2 days all the way to Florida. I had 4 horses in my trailer. It also has a small living quarters. And the reason I got that is because I have Starlink for great Wi-Fi. It's my little office. I can write part of it off as well. And I live out of that. And the way that I balance of being there for my daughter is while we're on the road, I'm working back in the trailer. She texts me before she's going to show, or if she needs me to go down to the arena and tell her when a class is getting on so that she can time it right to come out and warm up. I bring my computer, it sits on my lap, I'm paying attention to that while I'm working. When she gets into show, I close my computer, I'm present for her, I go down and talk to her afterwards, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to the trailer and work. So I've found a great way to kind of integrate that. You know, our drive back was 31 hours. Well, I can't really do work on the computer on the way back, but I can return calls. You know, my car brings in my text messages, so I can pay attention to driving and get that. So I kind of rearranged my whole life to ebb and flow with being able to do both, because it's important to me that I am a good mother, but I also want to be really, really successful. That's important to me too. And it's just a little bit different. I think as women, it's harder for us to have like the same timeline every day. I mean, I've been on these panels before with C2 with a lot of men where they're like, I block out my time and this is what I do every day. And I'm like, your wife stays home and takes care of the kids. I'm pretty certain of it. Because when I'm working, I'm also doing laundry and throwing in the load really quickly. Like, I've become very efficient in how I do everything so that I can do it all. And everybody's picture of that looks a little differently. If you YouTube my name and C2, they made a video and they came out there and the videographer comes out in white shoes. Well, I live on a farm with 12 acres and 6 horses at home right now. I'm like, oh, Nico, your shoes are gonna be really dirty after this. I mean, you're used to doing videos in California where it's kind of the same old story, and my story is just completely different. And I think that's the greatest part about this business is your story can be whatever you want it to be. So if you want to do 12 million a year in loans, or you want to do 50 million a year in loans, I mean, you can make it whatever you want and you can still be a good parent. I think being women, we're just a lot more flexible than men in general, and we can kind of roll with the punches, and I think that that's definitely probably our biggest superpower.
God, that gave me chills right there. Beautiful, beautiful job. Thank you. Nguyen, come on, girl, because you're the single mom of 2, rocking and rolling. Tell us how you do it all.
Well, thanks to the divorce, now I have the weekends off. So I get to have me time or work some more. But I'm not a very OCD organized person. I'm not the one giving you anybody advice about that. Kind of similar to be honest with you, but there's one thing I realized. I used to feel guilty when I don't pay like 100% attention to my boys when I'm out and about with them. Because I feel like, you know, this is the time I should be like 100% to them, but I always have to have some phone calls I need to pick up right away, real quick, and come right back. But slowly I realized that I trained them to the point they understand that their mom's always busy, but I still make time for them. I like out of the week, you know, on the weekdays, because I only have them on the weekdays now. If they have like a day off from school, I'll take them to wherever, beach or, you know, hiking, wherever, where they're allowed. They realize that, they appreciate that they know I'm busy, but I still make time for them. But then, in the meantime, they still learn to respect my work, that In the car, I don't even need to say anything. They were like screaming their heads off, killing each other. But as soon as I have the phone call, they like try to shoot each other. They're just like, shh, mom has a phone call. And then I pick right back up as soon as I complete that phone call. So, I thought it was very sweet and train them young, for them to understand and respect the work, the hard work. And, that they see what I'm doing. And hopefully I set some good example right there. Trying to be not like an alcoholic, but also a good mom at the same time.
Yeah, hey! Mom with little mom juice. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't judge, ladies. I love it. I'm rolling back to you. I'm Stacey. We're gonna come back to you. Tell me, you're a high performer. I can tell you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And one of the questions here is, how do you not guilt yourself when you don't get it all done? Just perfect ending to what I think every day I put that much pressure on myself too. So I'd love to hear how you leverage that and how you overcome that.
Yeah, it's hard. There's only so many hours in the day, right? We all wish we could add a couple hours in. Some days we wish we could cut a couple out. First, I just want to say I'm not a mom, but oh my God, to all of you who are, God bless you. I don't know how you do it, but you're all fucking amazing that you can do this and raise children, because I couldn't imagine if I had children. I have a crazy household. I do take care of my little sister, and I have dogs and stuff, but children, the dogs, they're fine. My sister's grown. I don't know how you guys do it with the littles, the fighting in the car and pulling on you. I literally cannot say it enough from my heart. You guys are badasses. You are heroes. You are warriors. Celebrate that. Celebrate each other. Fix your crowns all the time. And I just want to say that. Anyway, back to my question. So it's hard. I do feel guilty. There's always more we can do in the day, right? And it's did I maximize my hours? Did I forget to call this person? Did I not email this person? Did I not text this person? What did I do? What did I not do? And I think a lot of it was, again, something Melinda had said earlier, people tell you things and you bring that through, right? And so my friends now support me very well because they get to go on fun vacations and things with me. But in the beginning, I got a lot of you're always working. You're always working. We're on the beach. You're always working. And I'm yeah, but I'm already, this vacation's already paid for, and I'm already paying for the next 3. What are you doing? You used PTO? Good for you. And I did say that to my friends, because I have that relationship with my friends, and they love me, and we love each other, and we can say whatever the hell we want to each other. But they kind of got in my head. It made me feel guilty, oh, I am always working. I am always doing all these things. But I think Ashley said, I'm still present with them. And so they always laugh. They're oh my God, you literally multitask like anyone I've never seen. You're on your phone. I know you're deep and alone, and you just heard everything that all 3 of us said, and you're talking to us while you're typing, and having this conversation. And so I think you just have to figure out how to multitask, but then also prioritize, and then just leave that shit at night. Like Melinda was saying, don't take that to bed with you. Don't feel guilty about it, because I did for a really long time. It affected me mentally, physically. I got so fat during COVID, because I was so guilty about so many things. I'm not even kidding you, I was 70 pounds heavier during COVID. I lost 70 pounds after COVID. Not even kidding. Don't clap on that. I should have never gained that weight. But when the world shut down, I became a mixologist. I don't know who else did this, but the last night in Phoenix that you could go to a bar was March 17th, and I went to my favorite bar, and you guys are gonna laugh because I'm not even that big of a drinker, but I went to my favorite bar, and I said, I need to know how the hell you make that drink, because that's what I'm gonna be drinking when the world is shutting down now. And my friend who's the manager gave me the recipe, and I said, Jesus, now I know why they cost $15. This is a lot of work. But I bought all the ingredients, the world shut down, and I locked 27 loans 3 days later because rates were in the 2s while I was doing mixology and eating myself and Uber Eats delivering every day to my house. But the guilt wasn't there anymore, because I was you know what? I'm handling all of this. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm taking care of my family, taking care of my sister, my dogs, my household, all those things. And you have to get that narrative out of your head. If anyone has not watched Brene Brown, who is a badass woman, her most recent thing, and I can't remember the name of it, but it talks about the narrative in your head. And that's the biggest thing that you have to do. And the biggest takeaway from me today is please get out of your own head. I think Melinda even had a slide on it. We are are our own worst enemies, and the things that you tell yourself or that you let other people tell you that you hone in on, get rid of that shit. You don't need it. It doesn't exist. You know your business better than anyone. You know what you bring to the table. You know what your value is, and every single one of you are just badasses. Own it.
Okay, right? And you know what I want to say? Like, look around the room really quick, because women, this is a room that's collaborative and supportive, and thank you for saying that, because I get in my own way all the time. I think it doesn't matter where you are in your career, we get in our own way, but this is a room of people who get it, and you should be able to reach out to somebody that you've met here today to get you out of your own way. That's what WMN is about, and I just want to say that, because us women, we could be fucking vicious. I got to be honest with you, we could really be vicious, but on the flip side, we could be wildly supportive, so lean into it, and I love that you said that, because you're top performers, so you're all like vibrating at a whole different level. I'm going to close this off on one question. I'm going to open up to you guys if you have questions for these badasses, because if you're all not pulling their numbers, you should. They did an outstanding job. We didn't start with what they closed, but we're starting with who they are, right? Tell me about team, because there comes a point when you can't do it all by yourself, and you have to leverage, and I see you nodding. So I'm gonna leave it open for you guys to burn your answer, like who wants to go first, but how did you go from doing it all yourself to leveraging your team? And if you can give me a 2-minute answer on that, you guys. And then any tips for them on leveraging, okay? Like, do you have written SOPs and standard operating procedures? Do you have anything that you can lean forward? I know Holly's gonna touch on that a little bit later when she's up here, because she has some amazing help as well. But tell me about your teams, if you would.
I'll go quick. So delegation, that's the key. And I think I said that in the beginning, like that was the hardest part for me because I'm so OCD and no one can do it as good as you, right? Wrong, ladies. Other ladies can do it as good as we are. I'm just gonna say it. So my team is all women, but it's delegation and then just trusting them. They're gonna make mistakes. Deal with it. You roll with the punches. Like I think Melinda had said, Agnes said she was going to get up on stage and throw up. Like your people are going to mess up. They're going to vomit. They're going to make mistakes. But you coach them through that and you develop them. And when you pick the right people on your team, you can scale and you can grow things and you can turn that over with confidence that they're going to do the business the way that you do because you've trained them, you've developed them, and they're a reflection of you. And I think when you give them that, there's pride in that too. Like my assistant, oh my God, like I love that woman. Today's her birthday. I sent her like a million things already that she got this morning when she walked in because I could not do any of this without her. And so I think really just leaning into finding that person that's going to run your business like you do, but again, coach them, develop them, make sure that that's the right fit. And then there's a lot of pride in that. They'll take it and they'll own it and you'll be amazed and it is life-changing to your business.
I love that. Thank you so much. Nguyen, what do you got for team?
Oh, this is still new to me. Because I didn't have my own team until I switched to broker. I knew for the fact that I needed at least a processor, and then processor, and then along an LOA. But just I need to find somebody at least like speak my kind of language, not my language literally, but my style. Because I'm like. Every email, every text message, they represent me. So they need to understand me first. They need to get me and can talk to me at the same, level. But one biggest thing that I learned the past year, kind of similar, but yeah, for me, it's like stop babying those loans. Let go. I baby every single loan so much. And it's like things can go wrong. Client needs to be 100% satisfied and happy. Well, things can be perfect, and they understand that. And it's just so let go, let mistake happen, and we can only grow from there, right? I mean, can only grow from mistakes. It's just like, and also think ahead. I mean, look forward, not look back. It's like what went wrong, but like, okay, what could we do from here? What could we to make it better? So my structure has changed like a couple times the past year because every time something happened, I'm like, okay, now we need to do it a different way. So just learn how to go.
So you're
just don't be afraid of making mistakes or,
Beautiful feedback and forecasting. It sounds like what you were. Yes, yeah. I love that. Thank you. All right, Ash, let's go. I can't wait. I saw her face like totally went, so tell me about your team.
So I do have somebody that does my social media, because the fact that I'm like almost 40 and I have to post on social media like a 16-year-old, I just want to like throw myself down the stairs, okay? Like I sent something to my team. I have girl loan officers like that are on my team too. And we're a little powerhouse. And I sent them a video of a girl like throwing herself down the stairs saying, I'm 40 years old having to do social media to sell adult things like a 16-year-old. And so I do have somebody do that because I'm horrible at it, and she has to force me to record. But I love to baby my loans, and I probably will never give that away, to be honest with you. So I decided to give the other things away. When I tell you during COVID I closed 321 loans, I disclosed every single one of them, I processed every single one of them, and I balanced every single file on Calyx. Barely using UWM at the time, honestly, which is a whole miracle in itself, and I gained 100 pounds, and I thought I was going to die. And so I knew when I left my old company, I needed culture, so I didn't ask anybody to go with me except for my assistant at the time, which she went back to her dream job. Good for her. If you want to be in LOA in Orlando, shout out, okay? And also, when it comes to team, I'm a big advocate of being in the office, because if you ever heard 2 heads are better than 1, well, what about 5, 6, 7? Because we help problem solve in the office, because I want to solve the hard deals. So even the girls on my team, they come in 2-3 times a week just to learn and grow. But my processor, I call him the male Fokker, because most processors aren't male, and he's phenomenal, okay? He is like the calm to my storm, and I couldn't have a processor as a female, most likely, because I'm a little type A at work, and he's a very good type B and great, you know? And he always tells me, stop doing my job. And so I've been really good at stop doing his job. So I'm not the best person to ask about stop baby their loans, but I just figured out all the things that I'm not great at, and so gave those things away, because I don't want to do them.
Great. Well, good. That's owning what you're great at. So
Yeah.
God bless you. That's a
Yeah.
perfect answer. And we're going to close it off with you and your team and how you leverage. I mean, how do you do so many units, travel, and tell me what your team looks like.
Yeah, my team looks, I think, a little bit differently than they do, and some of the things have evolved over time. So my husband actually started a processing company because I forced him to, because during COVID, when the processors were getting really busy and they knew I knew how to process my files, they'd stop processing my files. I'm like, that's a real problem. So he started a processing company so I can have my own processors under there. They can still be third-party processors, so I don't have to pay them, because I think that step from doing 12 million to getting bigger, like how do you bridge that gap if you can't hire someone and pay them $85,000 a year or whatever it is to be your LOA? So I've done ways really cheaply. So that's one of them. I also have a team of 6 LOs that work for me. They all produce their own numbers. We're all separate from each other, but it's another way for me to bring in extra income when times are tougher. All of those people I've trained from the start. Most of them did 12 to 10 million in their very first year. One of those ladies, she actually has a daughter that's really sickly, and she's like, hey, I need to make some more money, but I need to spend more time with my daughter. So we found a way to legally bring her in-house to be able to help me, but again, do it cheaply. To kind of leverage that so that you can scale, but if things go bad, you can shrink back down right away so that you don't lose it all as well. I use Arrive religiously. I use every aspect of it. I've had professional videos taken of every stage marker through the process. Those are in my emails that go out automatically. When I open an Arrive file, I put every contact in there, including title. How many times do title not know where you are at in the process? So now all we have to do, and my processors are very trained to do this, is check off what's happened. The email automatically goes out. It's customized to them, but I've made this really efficient. I also don't have to call my processors to know where they're at. I'm a control freak, but I've been able to give some of that up by having good processors, but I can also go into Arrive and I know exactly what they've done. They've left notes on it. When I'm qualifying the file, if there's any hairy parts to it, because I do a lot of hard deals like Ashley does, I've taken all the notes on that of what I'm worried about, how I'm gonna solve it. And so my processor, it's easier for her to dive in and do her job efficiently. And we just have good communication that way, but I'm also not wasting a whole bunch of her time having a call for an hour to go over the last 2 loans that we have, because we can just look in the file and we know where we're at, and everything is working very efficiently.
You guys are fucking fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and drop the F-bomb. Give them a round of applause. Thank you for being so successful, coming up here, sharing your wisdom, and I hate to scoot us, but we're going to scoot now. If you guys want to ask them some questions afterwards, please feel free to do so. Again, give them another round of applause for coming up here. It was amazing interviewing all of you. Thank you so much. We're going to swap out. My MC, Ashley, is coming back up. I'm going to hand this mic off, and we're going to move on to the next one. Hello.